Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at, and I'll show you how to install the CURT custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2018 Toyota Highlander. Adding a hitch to a vehicle like the Highlander really makes a ton of sense. It does have a lot of storage space on the inside, but it also has 3 rows, so you might have the entire inside of the vehicle filled up with people, and it's nice to be able to add some extra storage space onto the outside of the vehicle. Once you have this hitch installed, you can throw in accessories such as a bike rack or a cargo carrier, or you can even do some towing with it. Just remember, if you plan on doing any kind of towing with your vehicle, you will need to add on trailer wiring to stay safe and legal out there on the road. I like the CURT kit. It pretty much just plugs into your factory stuff, and then you're ready to hit the road. Here's a closer look at our hitch installed on our neighbor's vehicle. As you can see, the cross beams are partially exposed below the bumper, but it's really not that noticeable. Then we have our receiver opening, which is your standard 2-inch by 2-inch opening. That's going to fit most of your accessories. And behind that is another standard 5/8 inch pinhole. The pin and clip are not included with the hitch. However, we have many options available here at eTrailer. Also, any accessory that you add on will most likely come with one included. And we have a basic wire type safety cable loop below. Very easy to access with whatever style safety cable you have, like this large clevis, or an S-style like this. Now we'll take some quick measurements. Start with our ground clearance. From the ground to the top of the inside of the collar is right at about 15 3/4 inches. Then from the center of our pinhole to the edge of our bumper here is only about 1/2 inch. Just keep that number in mind for any folding accessory that you add on to ensure they don't make contact with the vehicle. As for our weight capacities with this hitch, we have a gross trailer weight of 5,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight that you can pull behind the vehicle. And we have a maximum tongue weight of 500 pounds, which is the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. Always be sure to double check your vehicle's owner's manual, compare those numbers, and go off the lowest rated component to ensure you're safe out there on the road. All in all, if you're looking for a hitch for your Highlander, you really can't go wrong with the CURT option. If you have any questions or concerns about this hitch or anything else we offer here at eTrailer, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to get you pointed in the right direction. And as far as the installation, it's really not that hard of a job. With ours, we did have to do quite a bit of prying to get everything lined up. So if it's not something that you're looking to do yourself, check out our dealer locator. You can find someone local to you that would be happy to help you get set up. If you are looking to see how this gets installed, then follow along and I'll walk you through the process. We'll begin our installation by removing this little plastic panel on our driver's side. So it's going to be held on by a couple different fasteners. We'll start with these push pin fasteners. Helps to have a trim panel tool like this, or just a flathead screwdriver. We just need to get under the center portion and be able to pry that up. So unlock it and then pull it out. There's one of those there and another one right here. Get this one worked out. Once you get those both worked out, we can move on to our 10mm screws. So we have one on the back side right here, and then 2 up front on our mud flap. Now towards our spare tire here, we have 2 plastic nuts that we'll use a 12mm socket to remove. It does help to kind of pull down on it to get that to unthread for you. Once you get those both removed, we'll just work this out of place. Then set it aside. Now on the driver's side, we will remove some plugs that are covering up our mounting holes. There's a couple plastic ones. You can just use a flathead screwdriver, dig up under it, and it should pop out. And these ones are rubber. We'll also remove those just to help our hitch sit flush. Just work your way down the line and get all those popped out. On the passenger side, we do have 2 more of these rubber plugs that we can just pop out. And then instead of the plastic plugs, we have our tow hook here. So we'll remove these two bolts with a 17mm socket. Before you remove the last one, make sure you're holding on to that tow hook. And then we do have another piece of hardware back here. That's on this bracket behind our muffler. That's also a 17mm. Now we'll take a 10mm socket and remove this bolt that's holding this bracket up that we already removed the other side of. Pull that out and set it aside. Now we'll come and clean out our weld nuts here. I like to just take a wire brush, clean out any rust or debris that might be in there, and then follow that up with our hardware. Just thread it in and out a few times, make sure it's nice and smooth. That way we're not fighting those threads while we have the hitch above our head. And while I have the hardware here, we'll talk about it. So each weld nut will get a bolt and a conical tooth washer. Just make sure that those teeth are facing towards the hitch, that way they bite down. So before we lift our hitch into place, we will need to work around this little tailpipe flap. So just pull down on it, it'll go past the tailpipe, and then we can kind of bend it out and we'll put it back into place once our hitch is up. Then grab an extra set of hands. I have my friend Daniel here to help me out. We're gonna go around the side of our muffler here, work around that flap, and we need this to go around our hitch. And we'll get our holes lined up here and get a piece of hardware started on both sides. In order to get better access to our hardware on the passenger side here, I am going to lower the exhaust. So I have a cam strap supporting it before we do lower it. If you're working on the ground, just use a floor jack. We just want to support it and control our lowering of it. And I did spray some soapy water on our hanger. I'm just using a pry bar to get some leverage and pop that off. And then we'll move up forward, and we have one more hanger. So with our hitch, some of our holes were pretty difficult to line up. On the driver's side, I was able to get all 3 bolts installed. Then when I went to the passenger side, I had to do quite a bit of prying to get it actually to line up. What I did was took my large pry bar here and pried against our hitch going to the outside, and also kind of pushed it back, and that allowed me to get our hardware started. Now we can tighten everything down with a 19mm socket. And then with this tailpipe flap, I was trying to figure out a way to keep it installed, but I'm actually just going to end up cutting it off, which is perfectly fine. Our hitch is now going to protect everything from the heat of our exhaust. So I'm just going to cut this off with a pair of 10 snips. So I did cut it off, but there's 2 layers, so I'm just going to remove the 10mm bolt that's holding it up. There was also a push fin fastener that pretty easily just popped out for us. Now we can torque all of our hardware down to the specifications in the instructions. Now we need to make a couple cuts in this plastic panel before we can reinstall it. There's a diagram in the instructions, just follow that, then mark it out. And I'm going to use a multi-tool to make a nice quick cut. Now we'll mock this up, make sure it fits, and then we can come back through with a razor blade and clean up all of our edges. Once you get that panel reinstalled and your exhaust hung back up, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the CURT Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2018 Toyota Highlander.